It is now my pleasure to introduce the first of our three keynote speakers, Andrea Wesser-Bronner, Chief Innovation and Emerging Technology Officer for Orange County, Florida. Andrea builds upon Orange County Mayor Jerry Deming's vision of Orange Tomorrow by creating a culture of innovation, collaboration, and inclusiveness. In her role, she focuses on creating public and private partnerships throughout the entire organization to leverage technology to keep up with global trends and position Orange County as a leader in the innovation industry. Through the development of strategic plans and collaborating with a variety of critical stakeholders, Andrea believes Orange County is set to be a regional, national, and international powerhouse of cutting-edge technology through championing large-scale projects that bring positive impacts to Orange County residents and visitors for years to come. Andrea, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Sorry, I didn't see my to manipulate the screen, so I apologize. We can go one slide back because I don't see any buttons or anything.
You should have control if you hit left and right arrow keys.
Okay, let's see. Yeah, it's not. There's okay. Sorry, everybody. Hi. Technical difficulties, right? Awesome for a Chief Technology Officer. Good morning. I'm excited to meet all of you and excited to tell the story about Orange County. In my role, it's the first time this position has been created for the county. It was through our mayor's transition team report. Even having a mayor at the county is a unique twist for most public sector players. Mayor Demings has a very unique view in what he wants to see the county achieve. And that's part of that is, really rising beyond our traditional hospitality industry here into a high-tech superstar region. And so with that is his dream of really creating Orange County to be the experimental prototype community of tomorrow, which is why I have the Epcot ball there. A lot of people don't know that Epcot was originally a planned community by Walt Disney down here. And so if you're ever curious, I know a lot of you are obviously scientists and engineers. There's a fascinating video from a YouTube video called Defunct Land. And it really does talk about the history of how progressive that community was going to be. And now that's bleeding into the plans for what we're trying to achieve. So he has three pillars: innovation, collaboration, inclusion. And a lot of my position is to oversee the modernization of the county and bring us towards that Epcot, which really, when he talks about a community tomorrow, is a community that works for everyone. And so that's in a variety of areas where we want to make tech investments. We do have some excellent schools right in our backyard. I know some of you are here today, and I'm a proud alumna of UCF, but we're certainly open to working with many other parts of the state. And so just really quickly, and of course, water covers both public safety and utilities and sustainability here. But we do a variety of work in so many other domains. So that's what I just wanted to share quickly. I'm so sorry. I don't know. It's just lagging. Oh gosh. Okay. So very quickly, Orange County by the numbers, just take a step back before I go into the actual water numbers. We have 1.4 million residents, but we do serve some of the other, I would say, counties in the region, especially when we do environmental and natural water resource impairment testing. And so, at the end of the day, we serve quite a few more than 1.4 million residents. And then there's 75 million tourists that come through the county, which we also obviously have to, serve and provide potable water. And I always tell people, I think, we are one of the best places to pilot research, because think about all the gray water use that happens at our hotel system and our hospitality system. Very few urban cores have the same throughput of tourists and other places as us. So just a great place to really, again, demonstrate pilot projects and work together. But from our water infrastructure, it's really across three different departments here at the county. And that is somewhat overseen by our Office of Sustainability and Resiliency as well, which was also a newly created position in the last 2 years under the new mayor. But we have three different departments. So the Environmental Protection Division, which does a lot of work, obviously, in testing, again, and is the mavens, if you will, of our natural water resources. Our stormwater and, of course, roads and drainage divisions within our Public Works Department. And then finally, our utilities department, which I'll get to the numbers in a moment on that. So starting with some of the progressive areas that we work on. And again, I know we work with many faculty, probably a few are on here right now, in some of the most progressive areas. We've done a lot of work with what is best in class to treat in our natural resources, certainly nitrates, nitrites, and phosphorus contaminants. But you can see here that, and then of course biologics. So, 275 acres of invasive aquatic plants were treated annually. We do have triploid grass carp that we've put in, obviously other biological ecosystem work that we've done in many of our natural resources. You can see quite a few here of some of the other work we've done in a passive or mechanical remediation devices. So we have 900 stormwater filtration devices, and then I'll get more into the stormwater treatment plants. As you can see here, when it comes to the type of sampling that we pull, and I'll show you some of the innovations around what we do with that, we process more than 30,000 samples from 600 plus surface water bodies annually. We maintain more than 1,900 retention ponds through our public works group. Our water reclamation facilities serve 870,000 people. I just wanted to show you just a plethora of some of the stats. The bottom left actually shows you something really interesting, which is the breadth of even buildings and water usage that we maintain for internal operations. And one of the more interesting assets we have that very few counties and public sectors have is our large convention center, which at any given time is one of the 3 largest convention centers in the country. And as you can see there, it represents 9% of our internal water facility usage. So just some interesting stats I wanted to share today. Okay. So here's some of the critical water infrastructure, again, across those 3 departments that I just mentioned that we really, rely on. So, starting with the top right corner, this is our assets in terms of what our utilities does in water management. So just to share, again, some stats, you can see some of the details here. So we have 4 regional water plants. We have 8 other water production facilities, and 23.3 billion gallons of water is produced. That's a 60% residential, 40% commercial split. And we have over 1,900 miles of water mains that we maintain. On the wastewater system side, we have 3 regional water reclamation facilities, 20.2 billion gallons of wastewater is treated, and that's a 46% residential, 54% commercial split. And we have over 2,000 miles of wastewater mains that we're responsible for. And on my next slide, I'll talk a little bit about some of the technology innovations and interests that we have in really monitoring a lot of what we do there, and then some of the unique remediation that we're interested in. At the top left corner, you'll see some of the work we've done to really focus on COVID-19 contaminants and to predict what's been happening. And we know that our water system is a fascinating way to, predict, nothing we could do preventative, but we certainly can just see what's happening in a region. And again, with such an incredible influx of 75 million tourists, just to give you an idea, at least 2 holidays ago, we had 40 million people, and we're still gathering the numbers from this holiday season, but that's an awful lot of strangers and guests from all over the world coming here, right? And so just to see what the effect has on our ecosystem. The bottom left corner, I'm sure all of you have, utilized this across other partners if you're not local, is our water atlas, where we do maintain a very transparent gauge system, if you will, across most of our largest lake and natural water resource assets. So if you look at the left side in the orange column, there's about 100 lakes there that are actively monitored with, telemetry and some really interesting sensor systems. We're monitoring chlorophyll, nitrogen, phosphorus, even E. coli in those systems. And so you can see this is Lake Apopka, which is the largest body of water in the county. And I know the gauges are kind of tiny, but you can see for chlorophyll and for the nitrogen, it's in the red zone. We're not doing that great. And it could be for many different reasons, right? A local rainstorm or some other issue. But this is really how our Environmental Protection Division will, obviously prioritize part of its impaired analysis. The bottom left is some of the really interesting things, and I'll share that in a minute, that we do in terms of water conservation education. That is actually a picture of our Florida-friendly landscaping garden, where many of our residents can come visit because they already come to our utilities system to pay their bills or, do all kinds of other things. And we have some really healthy partnerships with the Orlando Utilities Commission and some other players, but we're always open to exploring and working with faculty that are working on, residential and business or commercial conservation, progressive public education technologies or kits or outreach methods, because it's a big part, right, of what we do to maintain our ecosystem's health. Sorry, it has a bit of a lag, but I promise. Here it comes. Okay. So as I mentioned, we have a Chief Sustainability and Resiliency Officer, and so he created what's called our Sustainability Operations and Resiliency Action Plan. This was made with a number of partners from throughout our community, especially from the commercial side. A lot of people that have a tremendous say in what happens with our conservation efforts. And so there's a number of goals here, and I just wanted to call out the ones that are within our water chapter, if you will. So our first goal is to protect water quality through innovative technology. Hello, everybody. And integrated water management audits at county facilities. So that's, and you can actually see where our baseline goals are in terms of completing some of these. It's pretty aggressive. The second goal in water is reduce water use by 25% across county facilities by 2030 through water reuse and equipment efficiencies. And then our last one is to develop clean and safe access to alternate water supply to meet future demand. Now, obviously, that can be interpreted across so many other technologies, but today I just wanted to kind of focus on 4 areas that I know we would be very grateful to work with a number of esteemed, research partners. The first is a pretty aggressive interest in sensor technology. And so there's about 4 applications within sensors that we're very interested in. One of the major areas, obviously, is in epidemiology and really just checking on, I mentioned COVID-19 tracking. We actually did work with a number of partners. I know there's, again, some like Dr. Lee, there's a number of partners here from UCF that we did collaborate with thus far, but we're definitely interested in every variant. And so we've had some pretty successful projects with that. But we also are looking at some new areas that will be way after COVID and are still major issues in public safety. So one of the areas that we are interested in is, for instance, assessing opioids or maybe some other very large quantities of a variety of illegal drugs, because pun intended, we hope to flush out what could be drug dens or manufacturers of drugs illegally in our community. So it's a really interesting stake on public safety. And there's several other areas where that interfaces with public safety. So just some interesting concepts there. I know we obviously do a lot of work with, commercial players. We are dabbling in some new, I would say, Internet of Things network protocols, such as LoRa, some more secure sensor network systems that really help, again, from our own security measures. And, some of the areas there would be, pressure differential or leak detection is a big one for us. We do have some sensors we use in the lumen of the pipe systems to monitor a variety of biofouling and maybe some other issues, but we don't have a fairly robust system in terms of just, where might there be leaks along the way. So that's another area of interest. Obviously, we're always interested in telemetry applications in our natural water resources. So I just mentioned, our major contaminant issues, our impairment issues are, again, your nitrates, your nitrites, and phosphorus. I know that's common with everybody, but we have been talking to some companies, like there's a spin out from UCF, EcoSphere, some of you may be aware of, that do PCB and dioxin remediation, not even just the sensing of that, but remediation. We're very interested in avant-garde water remediation techniques, but again, the majority of our impairments are in traditional areas I just mentioned. We are very interested in, when I talk about natural water remediation, in passive or very ecologically friendly remediation tactics. So anybody who has something interesting there, we're ears open for that. And that goes really hand in hand with our reclaimed water applications and our interest there, in the sense that, again, what requires less consumables, so less chemical treatment, obviously, more passive systems, all of that is extreme of interest of still. As you can tell, our utilities group is very progressive and they do work with faculty. I want to repeat that. So we're very open to, working with you all. And then, as I mentioned earlier, we're very interested in gray and black water treatment, some type of best practices, devices, whatever it takes. Again, concentrating on such a rich tourism economy here. And so mass, consumption of that type of water would be really interesting to look at. And then, as I mentioned, we're always interested in potable treatment Again, passive, low consumables, everything I just mentioned earlier. I think that was my last slide. Yep. So in this picture, you can just see, and again, we have so much data available from GIS. If you just look up Orange County's GIS dashboard systems, if you're ever curious about what we've got out there, and again, we're very open to working with you all, and I look forward to getting to hear about the work you do. So thank you.